Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast that was created on purpose with a purpose to empower, uplift, and guide others to the center of God's perfect will. Kingdom Culture family, welcome back to the Kingdom Culture Podcast. I hope everybody's been having a great week. This week, I want to talk about reward systems and what it can actually do for your success when you implement one. I know we've talked about, building resilience. We talked about how failure, takes a part in success. And now I want to give you guys a tool that I've been using recently that I love now, and that's having a reward system. So let's talk about it. So a reward system is a structured plan where positive reinforcement is given for achieving specific goals or completing tasks. There's two types of rewards. It could be internal or external, just like everything else. Internal, it could feel like personal satisfaction, a sense of achievement, feeling proud of yourself, feeling hopeful, and having more motivation. The external things are actual tangible things. So it could be money, treats, a break, a vacation, a shopping spree, things like that. And for me, I'll give you the first example is when I'm in the gym and I'm, trying to hit a new PR goal, a new personal record of weight that I've been able to lift. I get myself in that mindset of like, okay, today is the day that I'm going to pass the last PR that I hit. After my workout, if I'm able to, I give myself a protein cookie or a protein brownie. They're so good. If you've never tried some, I definitely recommend them, or you can make them at home. But every time I hit a new PR goal, I just give myself one of those two treats, and that just keeps me motivated, and it helps me to go back in there and try again. For my business, every time I have a new enrollment call, I have tally marks on a piece of paper. So every time I hit 10 tally marks is when I take a longer break. Obviously, I still do the usual 45 minutes in, 10 minutes out. But for the enrollment calls, because they take a little bit longer, I will do 10 and then I'll take a longer break, which helps me just recenter myself and come back and be better. So there's actual science behind having a reward system in place for yourself. So there's this thing that we have in our brain called dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain that is often associated with pleasure and a reward. When we anticipate a reward, our brain releases this dopamine, which creates a feeling of pleasure and satisfaction. This anticipation itself can be powerful and a motivator that will push us to take action to achieve a reward. So our brains actually release dopamine, whether, and it happens all the time when you see somebody, when you hug somebody, when you see somebody you love, when you hug somebody, in the gym, endorphins and things like that also lead to your body releasing dopamine. But what it's saying here is that the feeling of pleasure and satisfaction, like knowing that you're going to get something, is a feeling of satisfaction, and the reward itself is a big motivator. This dopamine can push us to take action to achieve the reward. Then after that, if you make this a habit, a feedback loop is created. A feedback loop is a search of reinforced behavior. So every time you do something, dopamine is released, and you know that you're going to get your reward. From doing this over and over and over again, our brains create a feedback loop. This loop is crucial for habit formation and sustained motivation. So the search of reinforced behavior will make us want to repeat it. That's crazy. Our brains are actually amazing, and I've been nerding out in this stuff, but I had no idea that our brains made feedback loops, which kind of makes sense because, bringing it to today, our habits and stuff are formed because we do them repeatedly. So like if you have a morning routine, it was probably hard to first get into it and get it started and keep on it, but after probably 100 days of doing it, it just became normal and it became part of who you are. This is what this is saying. So the loop is just constantly a thing. It's not just with this reward system, it's with everything in your life, and it's what helps you form your habits. Super cool. So a perfect example of the loop and, the dopamine being released is, of course, going to be brought to our cell phones. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I have specific tones and ringtones and pings for people depending on who they are. I love people, but I have a close circle of friends, and I have my brother, my mom, so all of my friends have a different tone for when they text me, when they call me, and I know who's calling me without even looking at my phone, and I just light up. And it's super cool because when I was researching this stuff, it said that, that you might feel a rush of excitement when you see a notification on your phone. And that's because our brains have been trained to associate that ping with something rewarding, like a new message or social interaction. For me, I love talking to my friends. Not all of them love talking on the phone, but when I hear them text me or anything else, I just get happy because I truly value them. They bring life to me, so I enjoy just talking with them, and so my brain releases dopamine every time my friends or my brother or my mom call me. Super cool. There's actually an experiment also. It was conducted by F. Skinner, and he operated with conditioning. So Skinner used reinforcement to teach animals like pigeons to perform specific tasks by rewarding them with food. The same principle applies to humans. When we receive a reward after completing a task, we're more likely to repeat that behavior. Pigeons, y'all. This just brings me back on how cool God is. Like, pigeons were able to repeat a specific task because they were given food. I also thought about how, in the zoo sometimes they have the animals do a specific thing and are rewarded if they do it, just to, do a cool show. It's the same thing. And so that means that the feedback loops and dopamine and stuff like that is also in animals. Crazy. And it also shows how cool God is. That's what I thought about it. I'm like, wow, God really thought about everything. Like, we need feedback loops to create habits because habits form your life and your habits form your future. But with animals too, crazy. Anyway, immediate rewards can be particularly effective in reinforcing behavior, and especially in the early stages of habit formation. When the reward is closely tied to an action, the brain makes a stronger connection between the two, reinforcing the behavior more effectively. So again, it goes back to, the pigeons. They probably had to do a certain action and were rewarded. And so the more that they did this action, the more rewards that they got and the more that it stuck. Same thing with us. So it's reinforcing our behavior. For me, again, hitting a new PR, like, it gives me internal, success, like, not success, but like satisfaction. It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me know that I'm trying my hardest and I'm showing up in my business. Every time that I hit a new anything, I'm so excited because it's new and it's working, and then I'm doing the thing and all of my hard work is paying off. So yes, I'm gonna reward myself. I actually have a goal. You have to have goals with everything, but I do have a goal of how much revenue I want to bring in this year with the business that I just started. And if we hit that goal of revenue, I want to take my family on a mini vacation for the weekend. So knowing that I have this in mind, knowing that I might get a vacation has had me working harder than I usually would, right? Because the year's almost over. But if we hit that revenue goal by the end of the year, I'm going to get a vacation. So that is my reward, and that is what keeps me focused on just showing up every day, even though I'm exhausted, and keep going. So the action is taking action towards my business, and I'm going to tie that to my vacation. Same thing with you. You might read a book and you might have a goal to finish it in 30 days, and you read 10 pages a day or whatever that would be, the math to complete the book in 30 days, and you give yourself, I don't know, a Skittle. You're tying an action, which is reading, and giving yourself a reward, which is a Skittle or a candy or whatever, and you're making it a habit. This is used in schools. So remember when we would get stickers for reading, or a big smiley face on our papers for doing the work, pizza parties for being in honor roll. This is all a reward system for the students to feel more motivated and want to continue to keep learning and expanding their knowledge. Same thing with honor rolls, same thing with scholarships, and everything else. So this is to encourage students to meet academic and behavioral standards, and this is why they offer rewards for their achievements, to keep them focused, to keep them going, to know that they're not just going to school to go to school. There's actually rewards of studying. Super cool, right? So how do we build a reward system that is fit for us? You got to start like anything else. You got to start by defining what you want to achieve. Don't have vague goals, big goals. I always talk about how you need to have direction, and always be specific as possible. So right now, the big goal that I have is I want to reach 100 enrollment calls by the end of this month of August. That's a specific goal, 100 calls. If I say, I want to have more enrollment calls, cool, I can have 2 more and be good with it. Be specific. Be specific with what you want to achieve. Because if you don't, that could lead to confusion and a lack of direction. Then you think about the internal feelings or rewards that you may want to feel. Make it something that you are passionate about and that motivates you personally. What motivates me doesn't motivate you. It was funny. I was at a friend's, we were hanging out with some friends, and I told them that I love geeking out about finance. And that I had a book that was like this thick about finance in it. And I read it when I was like 19. And my friend said, reading about finance, that sounds like the worst day of my life. And it was funny because, again, the same thing that motivates me, it's not going to motivate my friends or my family. So make sure that these rewards are personal and that they're actually going to motivate you. Because if you're not looking forward to the reward, nothing will change. So for me, after I complete my 100 calls, I plan on rewarding myself with a little cake that has a number of 100 on the top of it with a little candle, and I'm going to make a whole post about it because it matters, because I know that I can, and once I reach that goal, that's going to be my reward. I'm going to feel so much empowerment, so much satisfaction. I'm going to feel like I succeeded because I reached my 100 call goal. It's going to be amazing. That's how that works. I love cake, but I don't eat it so much often because obviously I can't. But when I can, I go down on a cake. So again, first thing to do is to clearly define what your goals are going to be. Second thing to do is to think about what motivates you personally and what you're passionate about to, make it a reward. And it should match the effort and the importance of the goal achieved. Again, 100 calls, that's not easy. A little cake, that matches. So, also, do not Do not do counterproductive rewards. So make sure that your rewards are not counterproductive to your goals. If like you're trying to lose weight, don't reward yourself with too much sugary stuff, because that's going to defeat the purpose of your goals, of your weight loss goals. For me, 100 calls, that's going to take me a little bit. So it's not like I'm eating cake at every single call that I make. It's after the 100 calls, and it's not going to be the whole cake. It's probably just going to be a little piece of it. So do not make counterproductive things to your goals. Make sure that they align with your goal and that they're not keeping you from being better. Once you have all of that, you have to stay consistent with it. You have to create routine and structure. So incorporate your reward system into your daily or weekly routines to make it an integral part of your lifestyle. An example of this would be end each productive workday with a relaxing activity as a consistent reward. Also, you have to hold yourself accountable. Take the responsibility for following through with your plans and acknowledge when you fall short. Consider sharing your goals and progress with a friend or mentor who can help you keep yourself accountable. This is what changes your life. I can't change your life. Other mentors out there can't change your life. You have to change your life and keep yourself accountable. So having, the structure, the routine, and making sure that you do these things and hold yourself accountable and say, oops, nope, I didn't reach my goal. Why didn't I reach my goal? How come I didn't get my reward? What's going on? That's how this works. You can use reminders and prompts. Set up reminders to keep your goals and reward system in front of your mind. I use a calendar and sticky notes. I have my phone. Just do pings and stuff when I'm getting closer to goals. And that helps you just, keep your progress, track your progress, and you get to visibly see how much closer you are to your goal. Before, I used to put big red X's on a calendar, and it started to create a chain. So then, when I first started going to the gym and wanted to form that habit, I started the chain, and I hate it when it just didn't continue for the 30 days. And so that made me want to show up to the gym. That made me want to keep going, and it made me be consistent, first of all, because I formed the habit. I formed the showing up part of it, and it made me accountable because I was actually, doing the action and seeing it. So set up reminders and prompts. So, those are the things that make a reward system, for me at least, successful. A reward system is so useful when you are trying to build better habits, achieve fitness goals, or elevate your mindset. Don't be so harsh on yourself. I know this could be hard. I'm not saying that you're going to change or build your habits overnight, because that's not how it works. Life is meant to be a progress type of thing. But these tips will help you just get better with following up with what you say you're going to do, and rewarding yourself in the process is what makes it worthwhile. Because what I've learned is from my own journey is that I used to wait so long to reward myself, and I'm just like, this is going to take forever. And I just never, kept myself motivated. It felt like I was, pushing myself and struggling to get to from point A to point B. But now implementing reward systems that are instant, every milestone, I get to celebrate something. I'm more excited to finish the big picture. So have grace with yourself. Understand that these are tools. You can use them if you want. And if they don't, if you don't want to, you don't want to. But remember that we're here to grow, to get out of our comfort zones, to try something new. And as always, I have a Bible verse for you guys. This week's Bible verse is in Hebrews 12:11. And it says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on is when it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. This verse emphasizes the idea that discipline and perseverance, though challenging, leads to rewarding outcomes. It aligns with the concept of a reward system where consistent effort and self-control ultimately result in a positive and fulfilling reward. Wow. Super cool, right? That the Lord knows that we don't like discipline. We don't like doing some things. We don't like showing up sometimes. We don't like being our best self sometimes. Maybe we just want to relax and not do the things that we're supposed to do. Because it says no discipline seems pleasant at the time. Do you think I like working out every day? No, I don't. It hurts my body. But I know that at the end of the day, I'm going to have better mental health. My emotions are going to be regulated. I'm going to have free endorphins to start my day off. I'm going to have a better mindset because of it. Those are the rewards. Do I like doing the workouts every day? No. But the long time picture of what I'm gaining is what I'm looking at. And that's what Hebrews 12:11 is saying. That nobody likes discipline. It's not fun. But the Lord even knew that he needed to put this in the Bible because he knows how we function. He knows what we need to hear. And he understands. Super cool. I will always, always, always bring the Lord into this, and I hope that you found some value in this week's podcast. If you did, please, please, please share it forward. Put it on your socials. You can tag me in it if you want. And share it with a friend, of course. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. If you want to leave me a review or a comment or anything else that you would like for me to improve on, I'm always open to that as well. God bless you guys, and remember that I love you, but that the Lord loves you more, always, 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 and we'll see you guys next week.